Welcome in, you guys. Thank y'all for joining. Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me? Is it Myrtle? Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining the team, Miss Tab. And thank you for the gift. Can y'all hear me okay? Because I just had to end my live because they were saying they couldn't hear me. Good morning, Miss Tab. How you doing? Hopefully you starting your Monday off good. Cause Mondays suck. I don't like Mondays. Good. Okay, good. You can hear me. Linda Warner, thank you for joining. I missed you guys yesterday. I usually go live on Sundays, but I couldn't. Well, I did go live last night, but I didn't stay on here long. I was on here probably like 3 minutes, and then I got off because I just did not have the energy. So I said, well, let me go ahead and go live Monday so I can, check in with everybody and see how everybody doing. It's okay, Miss Tap. Okay, well, okay is still good. I'll take okay. Sure, go ahead, Miss Tap. I'm here. That's what I'm here for, my love. I'm not going to be on here too long, though. I might come back later on today. But I got a few things I need to do. Welcome in everybody that's joining. Good morning. Happy Monday. Hopefully everybody day is starting off good. Nevi, you said, how do you go about starting off with Hoodoo? Because you don't know your ancestors. So I'm sure you know somebody. Usually when people say they don't know their ancestors, it makes me think that they may either be estranged from their family, and so they don't really know, they're not able to trace or track anybody in their family. So I'm guessing that's what you're saying. So what I would say, Nevi, I don't know if I'm saying your name right, but forgive me. But what I would say is that you may have to do a little digging. You can still start though. You can definitely start. But if you're trying to link yourself to specific ancestors, you may have to do a little bit of digging. So even if that means that you have to get a DNA test, I don't really, I'm going to say this. I think that DNA test should be like a last result because it's so much going on with that. It's a lot. Some people think that they don't give you real accurate information, which they do. But a lot of people just don't trust it. And I kind of agree to a certain extent. I do feel like you do get some information from a DNA test. But you may have to do that. You may have to start with that. But in the meantime, you can definitely start because even though you may not know who your ancestors are, they know who you are. So you know, get you an altar. Definitely start with an altar, because you have to have a space where they can come and connect with you. And all you need is a candle and a glass of water. And you just, you say, I don't know who my ancestors are, so I can't call you guys by name, but I know that you're in my spirit, and I want to connect with you guys. And they can also help you. They can help to reveal, certain ancestors to you. So like I said, I'm assuming that you're saying that you're kind of estranged from your family, because we all in the practice have ancestors that we know, and then we have ancestors that we do not know. So how we usually connect with the ones that we don't know is that we just have a separate, we'll light a separate candle for them, just in honor of those that we cannot trace, the ones that we don't know their names, but we still recognize them and we still honor them, because they do still guide us. So even if we can't call their names, they are still there and they are still guiding us. So you can start with that. I hope that helps. And Donnell, you said we own Operation Satisfaction. I'm not sure what that means. I'm waiting on your question, Miss Tap. Did you put it in? Okay, I see it. Miss Tap, I want you to inbox me, because I can tell you what to do. I just don't want to put it here. I mean, I just don't want to say it here, but inbox me, dear, and I can definitely tell you what to do. No, Nevi, you can definitely start your altar. That's always the first step. I mean, of course, you would think that the first step would be finding out who your ancestors are. But most people will start out with immediate family members that have passed on. And so those people will go on their altar. But if you don't have a connection to immediate family members, if there's a situation where you don't really have a connection to these people, so you don't have anything to represent them, you can always use just a candle, a plain white candle, and a glass of water. Because they know who you are, and they will help you. They will help you. It seemed like every other day I'm coming across new ancestors. I was with my mom yesterday because my grandmother's birthday is today. But we celebrated it yesterday, in honor of her. And so me and my mom was, in the grocery store and stuff, and we was walking and talking, and she just started calling out ancestors, calling out people that I never met, that I never knew, but linking me to why I'm in this practice, basically, like letting me know the people that did practice in my family. So now I got like 2 other people that I'm going to put on my altar. But what I will say though, before you, so when you do start, collecting ancestors, you start finding out about different ancestors, their names and all of that stuff. Before you put them on your altar, you do want to, get as much information as you can about them. Now that's different from just honoring your ancestors, just plain out honoring them. So just lighting a candle for them every day on your altar. That's a little bit different. When you start putting actual people on the altar that they're, people that their name, or you have a picture or something of them, you want to know as much about them as you can before you start putting them on the altar, because not every single one of our ancestors do mean us well. You know what I'm saying? Like, we want to think that overall, most of your ancestors do love you. They do want to see you do well. But when you start working with particular people on your altar, you want to know that they are there to help you and not there to just reap whatever you're providing them. So you do want to be careful with that. So since I've learned the two other people that I can add to my altar, now my goal is trying to connect with them just to kind of see what they was and see how they was. And based off of what my mama was telling me, I know one of them was a root worker, and so she was disliked by a lot of people in the neighborhood. So I'm really interested in connecting with her just to kind of see, what type of spirit she has. Yes, a plain white candle and a glass of water. And you're just talking out to them. That's correct. And you're being specific, though. You're letting them know, for those that have my best interest at heart, can you please help me to, help me to learn who you are. I want to connect with you. And things will start happening, random things will start happening. Somebody will tell you about somebody. Or, like I said, if you decide to do like a DNA test, that can lead you to some people. I did a DNA test back in I think it was 2021. And I was looking because I was trying to find more people from my maternal side of the family, because I have a really close connection with my paternal side of the family. Because, it's a long story, y'all. I don't want to go into all of that. But basically, on my maternal side, there's a gap there. And so that's the reason why I did the DNA test. Of course, I do know a few people, but I wanted to, because my paternal family line is so long, I wanted to kind of balance them out on my altar. So I went to look for more people on my maternal side, and I actually was able to link myself to about 3 states in the South that my family is from. And I thought, thank you for the hearts. I thought that was really cool. I actually came across a first, I guess you can say first generation cousin, which kind of favors me. It was just eerie looking at her picture. She looks just like me, but we haven't connected because I don't think that she checks her messages on the website. So I check periodically to see what maybe she's checked, because she did do her family tree, and I was able to go through her family tree and look at some other people in the family. I was able to connect to another cousin who's like in her late 60s, and so we talk all the time. And she linked me to some, grandfathers and all kinds of stuff. So I would say that doing the DNA test does help, because it can connect you to people where, you can get a little bit more history. And then her family tree was extraordinary. Like they had real history. Like people preserved. She had like pictures of, I guess somebody had a prayer book from like back in like the late 1800s, where they was writing down different things in their prayer book. Basically hoodoo. They was writing down stuff and, trying to manifest things for their family members, basically, for themselves and their family members. And I guess when they passed away, people kept it and they preserved it, and it got passed on down the family line. And so they was taking pictures. They had took pictures of the writing. And for whatever reason, it seemed like everybody wrote in cursive back then. So it's kind of hard to read some of it. But, yeah, I thought that was just really cool that they did that. And then they had like pictures of, the elders. So you can kind of like see what these people looked like. And I'm talking about like back in the late 1800s, like maybe a generation or two after slavery. So I thought that was pretty cool. I was happy to find her. and we talk all the time. And she's like me. She keeps up with everybody in the family, so she knows everybody. She knows how to connect you with whoever needs. She keeps a good relationship with most people in the family. So I thought that was pretty neat. Yes, you always want to start off with protection with everything that you do. With everything that you do in the practice, you always want to make sure that you start it with protection. I took my mom yesterday to my uncle's grave because his birthday was on the 3rd. And I didn't get a chance to go because I had a lot of other stuff going on, and I kept promising my mom I was going to take him. So she wanted to go yesterday, which I thought was a good idea because that was her mom's birthday. So, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, long story short, I didn't take I didn't do my protection stuff like I usually do before I go, to people's graves. I mean, I'm gonna say it like this because I don't want people to get confused. If you do not work with graveyard spirits, then you just your regular trips to the cemetery are just to kind of put flowers on your loved one grave and stuff like that. You're fine. Just make sure that you have something to cover your head when you go. But for me, because I actually work with spirits, for whatever reason, when I go to the graveyard, when I go to the cemetery, I get a lot of spiritual activity. I get a lot of, I can feel that they know that I work with spirits. And so when we went to go put the flowers on my uncle's grave, I didn't get a chance because it was a last minute decision. So I didn't get a chance to do none of my protection stuff. And when I left the cemetery yesterday, I felt terrible. Like I pushed myself through because I had company coming over. We had cooked a bunch of food and we was celebrating my grandmother's birthday. But immediately after everybody left, I ain't waste no time going to take me a cleansing bath. But you have to be on top of things with, in the spiritual world. You have to make sure you're protected at all costs. So yes, definitely do take a protection bath. Make sure your altar is protected. Every now and then wipe your altar down with some salt water. Or, people like to use Florida water, but whatever you have, if Florida water is expensive, if you don't want to get that, you can always use just plain salt water and wipe your altar down. But you always want to make sure you're protected. Welcome in those that are joining. Thank you for joining. You're welcome, love. Thank you for the follow. No problem. That's what I'm here for. Y'all got questions, I'm here to answer them as best as I can. I'm a little aggravated though, y'all, because my plan was to go see the movie Sinners this morning. I was gonna go and get like one of those matinee movies because I want to see it because everybody is so much hype, and I just want to know what the hype is basically. I want to see if it's if does it speak to me. Cause all the spiritual people are saying, "Oh, it's the best movie." He really did his thing, and I do love Jordan Peele. Like is it Jordan Peele? Who did? Is he the who wrote this? Cause I might not be thinking about the right person, but anyway, I like movies like that. Just put it like that. I like movies that make you think. Oh, Ryan Coogler. Okay, I don't know. I don't know who he is. Oh, he's the guy that did the is he the one that did the Black Panther movie? Thank you for the likes. Okay, cool. Two-headed. Okay, so yeah. He does do good movies then. But I want to see it because I want to, like, I like to watch movies and decode things. Like once your eyes are open and you're trained to start seeing things from a spiritual perspective, it's hard to not see anything from a spiritual perspective. So I want to go see that movie just to see, like, is it gonna speak to me? Is it gonna, what am I gonna take away from it? And then I have this feeling that I need to see it. Like it may be a message in that movie for me. But this morning I woke up to, go plan to see the movie. I was supposed to go see it at 11. And I ain't got no money in my account. I was so irritated. I was like, what the hell? Y'all know how somebody always come in when you least expect it, and it's a bill that I owe. A bill that was due that I completely forgot about. And so they came in and swiped that little money right on out my account, and I was just like, are you kidding me? So now I gotta wait to see the movie. And I'm trying my best to avoid watching people's because everybody is decoding it, and I don't want to watch. I don't want it to be spoiled. Like, I want to go in with nothing, like a blank mind. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go in with nobody else's perspectives on what they saw or none of that. I want to see what I'm gonna see. So every time I see somebody say, go see the movie center, I stroll right past, because I already know they finna tell me. So I don't want to hear nothing. I want to see it myself first. So I'm going to see. They say it's some real authentic hoodoo in the movie. So that's what I'm looking for. I want to see. But thank you for the follow, Buki. But I have been seeing the Christian people pretty upset about the movie, so it got to be good. Anything that pisses them off got to be good. So they saying all kinds of stuff. I'm serious, two-headed. They talking about it's demonic, and I seen somebody say they just started listing all of the ATRs and was saying that they were demonic. Like, are you kidding me? Like, that shows you the way religion has brainwashed people. Like, it's sad, but I look at those type of people as like the late bloomers. You know how everybody else kind of like catch on, and then you had a few little stragglers that be left behind that still have to catch up. But that's all right. We gonna wait on them to catch up. We gonna be there to support them. We gonna take it easy on them, because I try not to be I try not to bash people for what they believe, because I too at one time was a Christian. I too went to church faithfully. I too would stand up in the middle of anywhere and argue anybody down about Jesus and that Bible. So I understand. So I try not to be, I try to give them a little leeway, because they ain't got there yet, and it's okay. That's a lot of brainwashing. That's a lot of hard work that you have to go back and undo. When you raised up in something and that's all you know, it's hard to pull away from that. I fought tooth and nails to hold on to it. I mean, dark days in my room, back and forth, battling in my mind, reading Bible verses and saying this ain't nothing but the devil. I don't know what the devil trying to do in my life right now. When I tell y'all, I was holding on to that Bible for dear life. But the harder I tried to hold on to it, the harder it was being pulled. The stronger it was being pulled away from me. It was like I had questions that I had never had before. Because when you're raised up, you're taught to never question God, never question the Bible. It is because God say it is. If it's written in the Bible, it's law. You don't question it. Even if it don't sound right, you don't question it. And so that's the way I was raised. And so I had a hard time with that. But them questions was popping in my head like crazy, and I could not, it was no way that I couldn't question them. Like, the math wasn't mathing. So yeah, I figured it out. I was like, yeah, no. It's something else. It's something else that I need to do. But I'm so thankful that the traditions and stuff was passed down to me, because that's what saved me. In them dark moments in my life, that is what saved me. I never forget, I felt like I was having a nervous breakdown because I was going through so much in my life. Thank y'all for the likes. Hold on, let me see what y'all are saying. Yeah, and they will two-headed. Eventually they will. That's why I call them the stragglers. They the late bloomers. They gonna catch up. Um, NY, so yes. As long as you are of African descent, yes, you can just randomly start practicing. But what I will advise though is that you take your time and learn as much as you can. Try to seek out elders. Try to glean the most accurate information, because there's so much stuff out here and not everything is authentic. People are mixing and adding things into the practice just because it's trending. And so you want to try to get as close to authentic hoodoo as you can. Now, for some of us, because we were raised in it, like me, I was raised in it my whole life, it was a little bit easier for me to know what was authentic and what was not. But I ain't gonna lie, there was some moments that I started to get swept up in some of this other stuff that they had going on. But in my spirit, my ancestors, they all, they would guide me. They would deter me. No, that's not how that don't belong. No, we not doing that. So because it's not a lot of information out, and the information that is out is mixed with a lot of stuff. Like, somebody had recommended a book for me. And I'm gonna get back to what I was finna tell y'all about the time I thought I was having a nervous breakdown, because that's very important. But somebody had recommended a book to me. So my subscribers, they recommend books. And because when I started out, like I said, I didn't do a lot of, it wasn't a lot of stuff out for me to research. I started practicing. I had been raised up in it my whole life. But I had really started practicing on my own as an adult, like around 2013. So there wasn't a whole lot of information out there. So it was hard to find, you know what I'm saying? A lot of the stuff I just already knew from seeing my grandmama and my mama do it. But when they taught you stuff, when the elders taught you stuff, they never really gave you an explanation to why you had to do it like that. They didn't tell you that it was hoodoo. They didn't tell you any of that. They just told you what to do, showed you what to do, and that was that. So I wanted to know why was we doing it like this? Why do we do this? Why do we use salt for protection? Stuff like that. So I started trying to look around online to find stuff, and it was really nothing in 2013, 2014 pertaining to hoodoo. Like, the only stuff that I was finding was like stuff that YT people had written from back in the old days, when they was trying to do all kind of stuff with hoodoo. You know what I'm saying? They was trying to make money off of it. They was stealing a lot of the ideas and practices and adding them to other shit, and all of that stuff. So it wasn't easy to find, and it's still not easy to find authentic stuff. So somebody had recommended a book to me. So I said, okay, I'm going to go and read the book, because I had given up on finding anything online or in books, because I felt like all of that stuff was just hearsay. People that wasn't really in the practice, don't know about the traditions. They just hear stories, they hear shit, they putting stuff in books, and they making money off of it. So I've been trying to go and read some of these books that my subscribers have been recommending. And I read one a couple of days ago. Actually, I read two books. One of them was the Zora Neale Hurston Mules whatever it is, Mule to Men, Men and Mules, whatever the book is, which was a really, really good book. But I'll tell y'all, I'll get to that. But there's another book that I read. I can't think of the name of it right now. What was the name of that book? But anyway, the book has some really good stuff in it for the first couple of chapters. And then when the lady started going, when the author started talking about, about the practice and the practice being closed or whatever, she started saying that hoodoo is not a closed practice, and that that YT people could be initiated into the practice. And when I saw that, I was so angry, because to me, the only time people hear that the only time a real hoodoo practitioner, a real root worker will say some stuff like that, if there is money involved. And because she's an author and she's selling this book, and she know that there are white people out there that want to learn the practice, that has a interest in the practice, she put that in the book specifically to make them feel comfortable, and so that she can sell books, because she did not want to lose out on that particular population of people buying her books. And because, they stereotype us and think that black people don't read. So I guess she figured that the biggest percentage of people that will be buying her books would be white. And so she specifically put that in that book. And it pissed me off, because it's like, if we're going to leave something behind, like, everything don't have to be about money. The money will come to you. In the practicing hoodoo, money will come. Things will come to you. But it's not about that. It's about the legacy. It is about leaving behind information for the generations after us. Because the generations that really, really, truly practice this tradition and these practices, they are dying off. And a lot of them are not passing on the information because they don't trust us with it. And so the information that we are able to get, it is our responsibility in this generation to make sure that we passing on authentic information. And for her to write that book, and she had some real deal conjure, old style hoodoo in that book, but then turned around and said it's an open practice, was like, throw the whole book away. At that point, I don't even want it. If you're going to do that, just throw the whole damn book away. Because that's not true. It has never been an open practice. Never. And I think people tend to get it confused. Hold on, y'all. I'm going to look at y'all questions in a second. I think people tend to get it confused when they say, well, I was taught, how we have our traditions and our practices, somebody sweep your feet with a broom, you spit on the broom. You never let your hair, you always burn your hair. You never let nobody get to your hair, or never throw your hair outdoors, because if a bird gets your hair, they'll make a nest with it and drive you crazy. Like, everybody know these beliefs. These things were no secret. And so I think a lot of white people think that because they know these things, because you got to think about it, a lot of them were raised by black women. So of course she's going to teach you these things, because this is what she do. This is what she practice. But that does not mean that you actually practice hoodoo. That just means that you know a lot of the traditions of our practice. Because one thing a black woman going to do is she going to pass down tradition. That's how we all know these things, because it's always been passed down in our families. So no, that doesn't mean that you're actually practicing hoodoo. It's way more to practicing hoodoo than just those beliefs and traditions. We do a lot of other things in the practice. Hoodoo incorporates a lot of things that people don't even realize, because we do it so often in our community that we was never taught that these are our traditions and our practices and beliefs. This is hoodoo. Like I was telling somebody the other day, y'all know how when somebody passed away, we always go and be with the person. We always take a bunch of food to their house and we stay with them for days and clean up for them and cook for them, and we tend to the kids and we do all of that stuff to make sure that they are okay while they're grieving. That is hoodoo. And I'm not talking about the traditional wake stuff where the person passed away and then everybody go, after the funeral to eat. No, in the old days, and I was raised up on this. When somebody passed away, it would be one person in the community, in the neighborhood, or two or three. They might rotate. They may take turns. But they come in to stay in this person's house. And they're cooking for them. They're cleaning for them. They're seeing about their kids, washing their clothes. They're doing all of that for a whole week straight up until the funeral. That was hoodoo. So there are a lot of things that we do in our practice that that makes it our practices, and we don't even realize that. So I think more people are waking up to that. Thank y'all for the likes. More people are waking up to it. They're understanding and seeing, oh, we've been practicing this all along. So even though, we was also told that it was wrong, and you know what I'm saying, we kept it on a hush hush. They had to do it that way. They didn't want you to think that what you was doing was okay, and so that you can go and do it openly. Because you got to remember, when they first started practicing, when our ancestors first started practicing hoodoo, they had to keep it a secret because they could lose their life if it was found out that they were practicing. So they would pass it down to you and teach it to you, but they wouldn't give it a name. And if they did give it a name, they would say it's the old way, or they would call it slave religion or things like that. But they would not tell you that it was hoodoo, because hoodoo was considered to be witchcraft, so to speak. And so even though these were our traditional beliefs before we came to this country, we couldn't practice them freely and openly. So we had to hide it in Christianity. So hoodoo is all up and through our churches, and we don't even know that's what we're doing. So, but yeah, like I was saying, yeah, make sure, for whoever that asks that question, because I will ramble. Just make sure that you go and get some authentic information, as authentic as you can. But you can start practicing anywhere. You start with honoring and venerating your ancestors. That's where you start. So connecting to your ancestors, learning your family history. And then another thing, venerating and honoring your ancestors doesn't just start when they go to the spiritual realm. It starts before they get there. So the elders that are in your family right now, the way that you honor them and venerate, because to venerate means to elevate them to a higher status, to bring them from ground level. It's like you raising the dead. So that's why they say what we do is worshiping the dead, and that's not true. We're not worshiping the dead, but we're raising them. We're elevating them in the spiritual realm. But it starts before they get there. You want to elevate them now. The elders in your family, elders anywhere. Elders are like, the elderly is being mistreated like no other. I can't tell you. I remember when I was growing up, we was taught that when you see an elderly person crossing the street, just stop and help them. I can't tell you the last time I done seen anybody stop to help an elderly person do anything. Now I do. I always do, because it seemed like they sense it on me. I could be anywhere. They'll come and ask me for help. Like, I don't know what it is. They sense it on me because I constantly uplift and elevate my elders. The ones that are here and the ones that have passed on. But, people don't treat them right nowadays. Nobody respects them. Nobody wants to go sit at their feet anymore. They're looked at as like a burden nowadays. And so I say the best way to start is before they actually go to the spiritual realm. So those elders in your family that you haven't seen in months, that you don't even go by to check on to see if they are okay, the ones that are 80 and 70 and 80 something years old, and you waiting to hear from somebody else in the family if they are still alive. Yeah, them the ones that you need to start elevating now. Go sit at their feet now, because they got a lot of beautiful information that they're going to take with them, and we need it. At the rate that this world is going, with all of the hell that we facing, we need it. So take every opportunity you can. But then, once they pass over, once they transition, then that's when the venerating start. That's when you invite them to your altar. You commune with them. You talk to them. You allow them to guide you. And you continue that same relationship. It's just that they're not here physically. But that same relationship that you build with them before they leave is the same relationship that you'll keep with them when they go to the spiritual realm. Because they don't change. Our spirits don't change. We're the same. Our spirits are the same. The same spirit that you have right now, if you have a nasty, ugly spirit, if you're a hateful person and your spirit is real nasty, you're going to have that same nasty spirit when you go over to the spirit realm. And that's how you know who to put on your altar. You pay attention to their spirit. What if your family is very separated? Where would I start? Nowadays, most black families are separated. That's a hard one, because I'm experiencing that myself. It just, thankfully, I was able to get a lot of information from my grandmother before she passed, so I didn't have to really rely on other people in the family. But if you have older cousins, they're always a great source. If you're speaking, I know you got to at least be speaking to at least one or two family members. They are a good source. I got a lot of information from my oldest cousin before me and her stopped speaking. But she kind of tied up a few, she kind of cleared up a few things in the family that I didn't understand, Yeah, I mean, it gets kind of complicated when your family is kind of separated, because you don't know who to go to, and yeah, so, but again, I would always say that even if you right now you don't have all of the information, or you don't have access to your family lineage like you want, you can still start, and you just ask that they help you and guide you, that your ancestors help you and guide you, and they will. I promise you they will. You'll start finding out about people that you never even heard of in your family, and get their full life story. I told y'all I'm going through that right now, and I've been in this practice for a while, and I'm still learning ancestors. I'm still getting new information every day. So they're gonna make themselves known. They're your ancestors in the spiritual realm. They will make themselves known. But if you can't connect with your family members the way that you want to, you could still be as effective in the practice. You could still be effective in the practice still. Let me see. Make sure I'm caught up on all my questions before I start telling y'all. And the elders remember my name. Yes, Asia. That's what I mean. They do remember you. They will definitely remember you. I remember, I don't know how old I was. I had to be no more than like 11, 10, 11, somewhere around in there. But my grandmama and her brother was having a conversation on the phone. And they was talking about how, because I was always that child that I always tried to be good, even though I was a little bad. I'm not even gonna front, but I always wanted to be around the elders. I always listened to them. I always learned from them. And so my grandmama was telling her brother how, how I'm so helpful, how I'm always the one that she can call to do stuff and stuff like that. And so I heard my great uncle say, well, she's gonna be blessed. And God gonna bless her for that. She gonna be blessed for that. And my grandma said she surely is. And I thought about that like not too long ago, a few weeks ago. I thought about that conversation, and I said to myself, they had already agreed that they were going to make sure that they looked over me in the next life. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't. They had already made an agreement before they left here. They was already paying attention to me. They was already seeing that I was the child that tried to be obedient, that tried to do the right things, that tried to honor them and respect them. So they had already said what they were going to do. So they remember, they pay attention to things. So, and it means a lot to them because like I said, they don't, the way our world is, everything is so fast paced. So they feel left behind and they feel left out a lot. And a lot of them will even feel like, that they are a burden, and they don't even want to bother you with stuff. Cause I get that a lot too. I didn't want to bother you because I know you got all this going on. You be working and you got to see about them kids and da da da. And they start feeling like they are a burden and they don't want to be. So I go out of my way to make sure that they don't feel like that. Because if it had not been for you and your sacrifices, I wouldn't be here. So I could never make you feel like you're a burden. So thank you for the like. So that's why I suggest, this is just my suggestion, that you start with them before they go to the spiritual realm. Because when you light that candle on that altar, you're lighting up your face. And all the ancestors that are there can see your face. And you might be helping somebody that you didn't even know was related to you. Because how we are all divided and split up and all of that stuff. But once they get on that other side, they know. So that's why I say do it now. Start elevating them now. Good, Niku. I don't know if I'm saying your name right. Hey, cuz. Welcome in, lil' bub. So, exactly, two-headed. They start off as an ancestor before they get to the other side. If they are bad people, Niku, then you don't deal with them. That's why I say, their spirits before, the people that you put on the altar that oh, thank you for the crown. The people that specifically that you're putting on your altar, know their spirits first. If they were nasty in life, they're going to be nasty on the other side. If they were hateful, if you had a great aunt and all she did was keep up mess in the family, and she was just a hateful person, you couldn't go to her for anything, then no, she don't go on the altar. And when you do your protections and things like that, when you clean your altar off and all of those things, she's the one that you're keeping away from the altar. So I don't want people to think that, people tend to think when you say ancestors that they all loved you and they all want the best for you. Now, I will say overall, the majority of them do. But then there are some that would not give two flying F's. And if they was like that in real life, if they was like that in their living life, they are still like that in their afterlife. They wouldn't give a flying F. So no, you keep those off of your altar. You stay away from those types of spirits. Because you put them on the altar. And I'm going to tell you, when you feed them, that's their energy. That's their strength. So the more that you feed them, like how we have to eat to have energy. If we go hungry for too long, we weak and we can't do nothing. We sick. We don't feel good. Same thing with them. If they don't eat, if you're not giving them that energy, then they can't do anything. They're not going to be able to work for you. So some of them will come to your altar because you're feeding them and making offerings for them. They will come and take, and they'll build their energy up only to cause more chaos, only to cause confusion. So that great aunt that was messy in life, she gonna still be messy on the other side. And you're feeding her, you're giving her energy to be messy. So when you start seeing stuff happening, you start having all kind of situations with people, and you like, what's going on? Like, where is this coming from? That's that great aunt that you feeding on that altar. So you have to make sure you stay on top of keeping your altar cleansed and protected at all times. And you call the spirits to the altar that you know have the best interest at heart for you. You've been feeling like a outcast. You know what? That's a good thing, Niku. It's all right to be an outcast. I've been feeling like an outcast my whole life. I still feel like that. It's because you're different. And when people don't understand something, they don't want to deal with it. Some people will take the time out to get to understand. And then others will be like, oh, no, I don't know nothing about that. And they keep on moving. So they put you in the weird section. You go in the weird category. Because they don't have the time to figure you out. But it's okay. It's okay. Sometimes it's better to be outcast. I promise you, I have my peace. My peace is like no other. I wouldn't trade my peace right now for nothing in the world. To fit in with nobody, to get along with nobody, to make nobody like me. I wouldn't trade my peace for none of that right now. The peace that passes all understanding. That's what I got right now. And I ain't trying to get it up for nobody. So I'm all right with being the outcast, the black sheep, whatever you want to call it. The oddball, the weird one, the weird one. I'm all right with it. And I know it gets lonely sometimes. Thank you for the follow, Bethany. I know it gets lonely sometimes because, you want to connect with people, but not everybody is on your level. And so I'd rather just do my own thing than to be around people and feel awkward all the time because they just don't understand or they don't get where I'm coming from. Thank you for the follow. Treasure. Hey, girl. Okay, so you got a book recommendation. Okay, I'm gonna put that in the thing. I've been reading some of the books that y'all I've been trying to. I'm doing 2 at a time to see if cause I told y'all to make sure that y'all vet these books before y'all recommend them. But I've been going back looking at them myself just to see. So I'm gonna add this to the list. But there's one book, and I'll talk about it in our subscribers live. But there's one book that somebody recommended that I'm going to take out of there. Because I don't know I think you just joined, but I was telling them earlier that I went to read the book and got halfway through the book. And I'm not going to lie, it was some good stuff in there. Now, I will say, chew up the fish and spit out the bones. Because it was some good, real authentic hoodoo in that book. But what threw the whole book off for me was when the author started saying that white people could practice hoodoo and that it was an open practice and that, they could be initiated. Then I knew that, this was for money. So, yeah, we got to make sure we vet these books good, y'all. But, yeah, I'm going to go and look at it. And I was telling y'all about the Zora Neale Hurston book, The Men and the Mule or whatever. Now, that book is good. It's not a lot of hoodoo in there. She did give some little stuff here and there, little droplets of hoodoo. And I will say that a lot of that did sound authentic. So I believe that she did get that from people that she was talking to and interviewing. But like towards the end of the book, because the book only has 4 chapters. The last chapter, it went Hollywood for me. She started talking about New Orleans voodoo, and excuse me, y'all. I'm not really familiar with New Orleans voodoo. It's not, a lot of people say that it's very close to hoodoo, which I think it is, but it has more voodoo. So voodoo has more Catholicism in it versus hoodoo has, I guess you could say, Christianity in it. But they are kind of similar in a lot of ways, and then they are quite different in a lot of ways. But when she started talking about the New Orleans voodoo, it went Hollywood. Like it started making me think about, all of the movies that we see. Whenever they talk about anything pertaining to voodoo, they make it very Hollywood. They make it seem like it's a bunch of people being possessed and all of that. So that last chapter threw me. I was like, oh, she had me up into this last chapter. And they started talking about the Marie Laveau, whatever, the hoodoo, which she was not. People keep saying that she was a hoodoo practitioner. She was not. She was a voodoo practitioner. She practiced voodoo. Hoodoo and voodoo are not the same. And so I think that people need to understand the two. They do have a lot of similarities, but they are also very different. And so she was not, Marie Laveau, whatever her name is, she was not a hoodoo practitioner. She was a voodoo practitioner. She practiced voodoo. I'm going to have to remember this book because I want to put it in the subscription chats. Wait a minute, Treasure. Let me go back and see what you said it's called. The Woman That Run with Wolves. Now, you get some good stuff, Treasure, so your book might be good. Your recommendation might be good. Oh, okay. So she said that Treasure. Okay, I got you, Treasure. So that was for Niku with the feeling like an outcast. Okay. Yeah, I saw that two head. They've been calling it voodoo, and then they've been saying that it has a lot of Ifa in it, and it has a Santeria in it, and all kinds of witchcraft and stuff. And then with the vampire thing, that's European. So it's like all over the place. But I'm gonna go see it and see what I can make out of it. But yes, voodoo and hoodoo are not the same. I had to tell my daughter. Hold on, y'all. I got to do this puzzle piece. I had to tell my daughter the other day. She said, what did she ask me? She said, do grandma practice voodoo too? I said, we do not practice voodoo. It's not voodoo. I'm going to need you to stay offline. Let me teach you before you start going online looking at stuff. Because no, we don't practice voodoo. Thank you for the likes. Welcome back, Black Eye. I had to leave and come back because y'all said y'all couldn't hear me. So I think I had connected to my car or something. So that's why I had left earlier when you had came in. It is. It's always misrepresented. It is always misrepresented. But I think that is a big part of our responsibility is to make sure that people understand, our people anyway, because, the white people they're gonna view it how they view it. They're gonna, yeah, I'm not even gonna go back to that book again. But, yeah, they're gonna view it how they view it. So it is up to us to make sure that we know what's what. And because it's a big gap, we are starting to reawaken to the practice because there was a very big, huge gap Now, the people down south, we ain't never really stopped practicing hoodoo. Like, I'm sorry, that ain't never. We just ain't. We ain't been all as active in it as we used to be, because a lot of us started to become more saved. And so we wanted to, do the whole Christian thing. And so we kind of put that on the back burner, and we just kept it in our pockets. You know what I'm saying? And then when we felt like we absolutely needed it, we'll pull it out. But now that it's becoming more mainstream, I hate to say that. I really hate to say it's mainstream. But now that more people are starting to come back to the practice and reawaken to the practice, um, it's a lot of tweaking that needs to be done, because you got people from everywhere practicing. Because our people are all over this all over this planet, but we're scattered all over the US. And so because the practice was created and birthed in the South, you got, as our ancestors started to migrate and go different places in the US, they were taking the practice with them, passing it down, but then other stuff started to get intertwined into the practice. So I think that it's our job to try to keep it as authentic as we can. Even though I had to have a whole battle with this lady on here one time under my videos, because she was just like, I think that's just so, you don't want the practice to evolve. You want to keep it in this old time view. And it's not that. It's gonna evolve. There's everything evolves, so there's no way around it. But I just don't want it to evolve in the wrong way, you know. And one of those ways is allowing other people to come into the practice and do their own thing. We don't want Wiccan in our practice. Santeria, Condomble, whatever that is, Ifa, Voodoo, all of those are different practices. They don't belong in Hoodoo. Now, Hoodoo do take from all of these different traditional practices, because you got to remember that the way that Hoodoo, the way that it came to be was because there were a lot of different Black Africans on plantations together that were from different parts of Africa. So because they could not practice their own tradition and beliefs, they combined everything and they made it one practice, and they did it on Sundays while they were in church, because that was the only time that they were allowed to gather. So that's why Hoodoo is heavy like it is in the church. And it still is, always have been, always will be. Until those church doors close, Hoodoo will remain in the church. So I don't care about none of them people that be talking all that smack about that movie center. They went to go see it, and they know it called some of them out. Yes, Lukumi. Yeah, that's the one I was looking for too, Black Eye, because they talk about that one a lot too, Lukumi. Exactly. We have traces of everything from all of the religions of Africa in Hoodoo. But that does not mean that Hoodoo is those things. It's a combination of all those things. But the one thing, I think what they tried to do, and I don't know this to be 100% a fact, but I think what the ancestors was trying to do was they were trying to get as close to what they all practiced similarly. So because they all did ancestor veneration, that's why in Hoodoo we venerate the ancestors. That was something that everybody did across the whole continent of Africa. And so the things that they did that were similar, I think they kind of, added that into the practice. So that's why some of the things we do are so similar, but then everything differs according to the family lines. So, you on the plantation, you got 10 families. Each one of them are practicing Hoodoo differently. because they are all from different parts of Africa. But overall, they are incorporating a lot of the things that they all did similarly too. Like altar, having an altar. I saw a video, I think, on here not too long ago where they were saying our ancestors didn't have altars. Altars is a new thing. That's not true. They had altars in the slavery days. They just didn't call them altars. But they did have altars. They had a sacred space that they had their ancestors things that they held on to. Because you got to remember that when they was on them plantations, they generations after generations came up in them cabins. It wasn't like they was moving around. Like they got tired of living in one cabin and they moved to another one. It didn't matter if the roof was falling in. They stayed in that same cabin. So you had generations after generations after generations in one cabin. So every time an elder passed away in that family, they kept something that reminded them of that elder. They didn't have pictures then. So they had actual physical things. And we always have believed in the spiritual world, we always believe that our energy never dies. So anything that belonged to somebody will always hold the essence of their energy. So they would go and work with these things because they knew that they had the access to that ancestor's energy. Now we do it in a form of pictures. And that's another thing I would recommend. If you have something that belongs to an elder, put that on your altar. Try to find something. If you have anything that belongs to them, make sure that goes on your altar. Because that's like making the energy potent. You got their picture and their energy right there to work with you. But yeah, so when I saw that video, I didn't comment on it because, I kind of understood what they were saying. They were saying that the way that we do altars now is more modern. But the way they said it made it seem like the ancestors never had altars. This is just something that we doing. No, they had altars. They had altars, and sometimes they would have their altars hidden down in the floorboards. So they would pull a piece of wooden plank up, and that was their altar. All of their family, their loved ones' possessions would be up under that plank. And so the master wouldn't see it, but they knew that it was there. Exactly, Black Eye, place of power. And places of power has changed. Now that has evolved. That has evolved from the time when Hoodoo was birthed because, we have access to move around to things. So, you can go to now, you can find your place of power anywhere now. But yeah, they specifically had it right there in that cabin. And white people did that too, but they called their stuff family heirlooms. So they passed down stuff in their family lines too, but they called them heirlooms. But we didn't call it that. Hey, Black Molasses, welcome in, girl. I didn't see you come in. Yes, Black Eye, the church was also the altar. Yes, indeed. And that's where we get altar calls from. And I did a video. I don't know if y'all watched it, but your ancestors will make altar calls. They will have you at that altar, baby, with some stuff. And I'm not talking about how they do it in the church where they want you to lay down. They want you to talk about stuff that you dealing with in front. No, they want you to come and turn your life over. Yeah, and it's similar to that, but it's in a different way when they do it from the altar. And I can't wait tomorrow, you guys, for my subscribers. I got a very interesting story to share with y'all. I can't wait to share it with y'all tomorrow. It's gonna blow y'all mind. When I tell y'all some of the weirdest stuff be happening to me, sometimes I don't even want to go out the door. Cause I be like, God, I don't know what finna happen today. I be picking up on some of the weirdest stuff. But I'm gonna share it with y'all in my in the subscribers live. Thank you for the follow, Island. And if there's anybody in here that may be needing any type of consultation, spiritual consultations, or if you just you need somebody to kind of help you on your journey starting out in the practice, I do offer a subscription. I offer subscription plans where I can kind of help you. I can do consultations with you to kind of help you out. So if that's something you're interested in, you can go and check out my subscriptions and see, how they might be of a benefit for you. And then I also do offer mentorship coaching as well, which is a little more hands-on. But I think it would be very helpful. Thank you for the likes. Hey, Rose Collector, how you doing, girl? Welcome in. So happy to see you guys. I missed y'all too, because I haven't talked to y'all since Tuesday, right? Was it Tuesday we talked? And then I know some of y'all didn't make it, because I think some of y'all had to work and stuff like that. So some of y'all didn't even get to see me Tuesday. But I miss y'all. How's everything been going, Rose Collector? Okay, I've been doing good. But I'm gonna tell y'all what's been going on in the subscribers live tomorrow. But overall, I've been doing good. Yeah, I know. I missed you. I was looking for you, Black Eye Tuesday. That's why I said so. I knew some of y'all couldn't make it. It was a few people that was missing Tuesday. But hopefully I see y'all tomorrow though. I thought you was there. You was there Tuesday, Black Molasses. Wasn't you there? I could have swore you was there because you was making jokes. We was up there talking about Geritol. You don't remember that? Me, you, and Miss Deborah, and somebody else. Black Eye, we was in there tripping. It was Miss Deborah. She started it. My son had said something, and it just went from there. She heard him saying something in the background, and it just went from there. I don't know how we ended up getting. We started talking about Geritol, but it was a mess. Yeah, no, he wasn't there. He missed it. Black Molasses. He had missed it. The usual time at 6, maybe around 6:30, because y'all know how I can be sometimes. But I'm definitely gonna be there. You said, wait, Rose Collector, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to skip over that. You said you're seeing all your cousins. Do you mean like alive? You said, wait, Rose Collector, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to skip over that. You said you're seeing all your cousins. Do you mean like alive? Can y'all hear me? Oh, okay. I'm sorry, girl, because when I tell y'all my mind stay on spiritual things, I be having to sometimes try to separate the two. Like, wait now. But I thought you meant like you was actually seeing like passed on relatives. Right, Black Molasses. That's what we was that's what we were talking about, Siri. Oh my God. That was so funny. Siri was messing up everybody comments. I think people were trying to talk, do they comments using Siri, and it was a hot mess. Oh, really? Okay, I'm gonna check to see what's going on because welcome in, Sharice, and thank you for the hearts. I'm gonna check to see what's going on, Black Molasses, because I've been getting a lot of people been messaging me and saying that somebody else they done created another page. So I think the one that they had the first time, everybody started reporting it, and they took that one down. So now they got another one, and so they got some stuff, weird stuff going on. People been messaging me saying. And so anybody in my life, let me let y'all know this right now. I do not inbox anybody. And I don't, especially, I'm not going to inbox you and say nothing to scare you or try to get you to send me money. I will not do that. So if you get a message from me and you didn't reach out to me first, then that's not me. Go ahead and report them and block them. You got one too, Sharice? Yeah. So I don't know who doing it, but it's pissing me off because I don't know. And that's another thing. Like, y'all got to stop being so what's the word? So naive when it comes to spirituality. Because people will hide under spirituality and use it as a way to manipulate and take advantage of people. So y'all got to be a little bit more you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to vet things. You can't just, and I get it, we go through stuff. And the reason why I do what I do is because there are so many people out there that are dealing with spiritual things and they don't know how to deal with it by themselves. A lot of people don't understand what's going on. And so that's what I'm here for. But I want people to be cautious, though. Like, you can't just go with anybody in anything just because you feel like you're in a state of desperation and you need help. And so somebody message you and they say, there's an attack on your life right now. You have a spiritual attack on your life and blah, 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 blah. And I need you to send me some money. Like, I just did a consultation visit with a young lady. I don't know if I should say this. I'm going to just put it like this because I don't never want to. All of my consultations are confidential. But I'm going to put it like this. If somebody is messaging you and they are saying that they have done something to you and that or somebody has done something to you or is going to do something to you, unless you send them money, that's an automatic scam. No spiritual worker is going to message you and say that, if you don't do this, I'm going to put something on you. If you don't send me this amount of money. So y'all got to be very careful with stuff like that. And then it's easy to believe it because people are already seeking for some spiritual help because they are experiencing things in their life. So they're already seeking the help. And then somebody jump in your inbox and say, well, I just did this work on you. And if you want me to take it off, you're going to have to send me this amount of money. And so you believe it because you like, well, maybe that's why I'm having all this bad luck like I'm having. Don't do it. Don't go for it. If you haven't saw that person, if you haven't had an actual conversation with that person, don't send them no money. And y'all know better than that. If they messaging you on WhatsApp, that should be an automatic suspicion. Because the only people that you really use WhatsApp is foreigners. Foreign international scammers. You're right. What is this? Shola, you are absolutely right. People do lack discernment. But out here in this spiritual world, you got to be on top of stuff. Gullible, exactly, Black Eye. Gullible. Y'all cannot be gullible like that. Because spiritual people, there are some fakes out here that will take advantage of people. That prey on people because they know that people are going through things and they want help. So if somebody really want to help you, it gonna feel like they want to help you. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna be trying to. That's not gonna be their first thing they talking to you about is money. That's not gonna be the first thing. Well, if you send me $500, I can know. No, when I do my consultations, it is so that I can get an idea of what's going on, because everything doesn't require a spiritual fix. Although everything is spiritual, I always tell y'all that things will start in the spiritual before it manifests in the physical. So, yeah, a lot of things require spiritual work from within. Not everything requires actual manipulation of spirit or spiritual things. So what I mean by that is not everything requires you to go and see somebody so that they can manipulate and do magic to help you. Sometimes it's things that you have to work on within yourself. So once I talk to you and I get an idea of what's going on, I'm going to let you know up front. Like I had this one lady, she just kept on she was trying to convince me that I needed to do some work for her. No, ma'am, I don't need to do no work for you. I'm telling you what's going on. I'm the one that you came to for help. How you gonna tell? So you just gonna make me have to do some work for you? No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I'm telling you what the problem is. Ain't nobody doing nothing to you, ma'am. It's you. You're the problem. You got to fix you. She did not want to hear that. And I already knew when she got off the call with me, I already knew she was finna go look for somebody else. And I don't like, I'm not going to say hate, but I really strongly dislike dealing with people like that. If you come and talk to me and you consult me for some spiritual things, you felt like I was the one that you needed to come and talk to because I could help you, and you came and talked to me, but do not want to accept what I'm telling you, what was the point? So you want to give me your money. Basically, you want me to take your money from you. I'm not going to do that. I don't play around like that. You're not finna play with my energy. You not finna, no. When she started talking to me, before she got halfway through, I already knew what the problem was. But I listened. I let her finish telling me what was going on, and I told her straight up, no, ain't nobody putting no work on you. And I know when it's work being done versus just some stuff that you need to work on. And you're not finna sit up here have me. It takes a lot of energy to do things. You know, this stuff is not what people make it seem like. This is not bewitched. We don't twitch our nose and blink our eyes and poof, you have a result that you want. It takes energy, it takes work, it takes focus, concentration, intention. It takes a lot of things. When I get through doing work, sometimes I be too exhausted to even get up the next day to do things that I need to do for my own family. So I'm not finna sit around and play with people that don't really have nothing going on with them. They just running from their own self. And so you run into a spiritualist to get help for something that you don't even need the help for. You don't need me to manipulate. You don't need me to manipulate energy. You don't need me to work magic for what's going on with you. You just being lazy. You want to take the easy road. And I had to get out the mud. It wasn't no easy road for me. So if I got to get out the mud, you do too. Exactly, two-headed. They want the easy way out. Black molasses. You gonna get. Now let me tell you, I got. Hey, Liz, I didn't see you come in, girl. How you doing? Do you need to let what go? Who is that? Loans. What do you mean? If you mean hoodoo, no, you don't let that go. Not at all. But black molasses, you see, everybody get it out the mud in different ways. I had to get it out the mud because I was running from it. I was believing in God. I was so wrapped up in religion. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say I had to get it out the mud. So it was a lot of things that I had to come to terms with within myself. But you have people that will run from that, and they want the quick and easy way. So they want to go to a spiritual worker and you do the work for me. And there are many cases where you do need a spiritual worker to do work for you. But there are also a lot of cases where people really got to do some work for themselves and they just don't want to do it. Because you can come to me because you got a court case and you're facing jail time. You can come to me and I can do the work for you and you can get off and, case dismissed, slap on the wrist, whatever the case may be. But if you're not going to make changes, if you're going to go right back and do the same stuff that got you in that position, that situation from the beginning, then what's the point? So you're just going to keep running back to me every time you get into a jam? Every time that you out there doing BS. Like I had a conversation with a guy that I did some work for a while back. You out there doing some mess, but you run to me to fix it, and then you go back out there again. So now in the back of your mind, you ain't scared of nothing now because you got somebody that can do some work for you to help get you out of the situation. No. So the next time you come back to me with a same similar situation, the same type of situation that you done already been to me 2-3 times for, I'm gonna tell you no. I'm gonna tell you no, because money is not that important. When you're in the practice, you learn how to attract things to you. So spiritual people never really lack. Y'all hear me when I say this. And I'm not talking about religion. I'm not talking about Christianity. I'm talking about spiritual people. They never really lack. So we never have a thirst for, you know what I'm saying? It's never a time where we just hungry and thirsty for money. Because we know how to move energy. We know how to manipulate energy. We know how to draw things to us. We know how to make things move for us. So don't never think that, well, for me, I can't speak for all. But for me, I'm never in a position where I want to, just because it's money involved, I'm just going to go along with whatever. No, I'm not. I'm not going to keep doing it. And you have a lot of people that are like that. And sometimes it makes you feel taken advantage of. Even though, for me, I'm going to speak on my behalf. I do this because I want to help people. That's always been what I wanted to do my whole life, is help. And I have went through many careers in my life trying to help people. I've done counseling. I've done therapy. I've done medical stuff. All of that to help people. But this is truly what I love to do. This is truly what I enjoy. This feels right for me. This feels like what I'm supposed to be doing. So I do this. I do these things to help people. But sometimes it will come a time where you do feel taken advantage of, because people know what you do and they know that you will help them. And so it's like giving them a pass to go be terrible people, because they know that they got somebody that can help them, you know what I'm saying? Or somebody that can, you know what I'm saying, keep them from really dealing with their consequences for their actions. And I don't like that. I don't like feeling like that. So I have gotten to where now I tell people, no, once you tell me what's going on with you and I know it's something that you need to do, It's gonna be a no. I don't want your money that bad. Right, Black Eye. Because you can't do that. You can't, it's not for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's, you got to think about when hoodoo was, when it was birthed. They use workings like keeping the law away and stuff like that because they were dealing with having to, when they were running away from slavery, they had patty rollers, what they now call the police, slave catchers. So they did work to keep themselves from getting caught so that they can be free. But think of the situation. They didn't go out and unalive somebody and then do the work to keep themselves from being caught. So we can't play with it like that. You have to keep a balance. Hoodoo is all about balance. If you give, if you take, you give. If you wrong, you right. You have to keep a balance. So if you out there doing some stuff, now, okay, one time, we all make mistakes. You get a lot of people, a lot of women that come for work for their children, for their sons and stuff. Cool. I don't have no problem with that because I get it. They kids, they don't know no better. They out here making bad choices and decisions. But you a grown ass 30-something-year-old man and you got a lengthy arrest record and you keep doing dumb stuff and then you keep running to spiritual workers to help you, but you keep going back to do the same shit because you know that you taking advantage of what it was meant for. So then after a while, all that stuff start to add up because it's no balance there. So it comes back to you. You done knocked everything out of balance. You didn't make a change. You didn't, you know what I'm saying? You ain't try to go and do nothing else. Because I always tell people, if I'm going to do the work for you, you got to make a change. You cannot go back to do the same thing again. You cannot. Because if you do it again, it comes to you even worse the next time. So then I got to work harder the next time to get you out of this jam. And then you come back again. And after a while, you done burnt me out. You done burnt me out. Now you got to deal with this stuff on your own. So when you finally do get caught, when they finally do hit you, they going to hit you with 100 and some years for some petty ass shit that you should have got 5 years for. Because you done spent all these years running from these folk because you've been using magic. But you ain't made no change. You didn't balance it out. You was taking and not giving. So you can't play around with hoodoo like that. That's why I say people have to really understand what they doing when you want to practice it. It's not what these white people think it is. It's a lot of understanding nature. It's a lot of paying attention to how things work. You got to kind of be observant. You have a real keen ability to pay attention to the way things move. Not just, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be kind of good with predicting outcomes, so to speak. I really can't explain it, but it's a certain type of knowing that you have to have. I guess you have to be able to connect with yourself. You have to be able to connect with your spirit, and the spirits that are helping you. And then you got to be able to connect with the spirits of nature, like plant spirits, animal spirits. So it's a lot that comes along with the practice. And whoever said, should they put it down? No, absolutely not. Don't put it down. Do not put it down. It's worth it. They didn't hold on to it for all of these hundreds of years for no reason, y'all. But that don't mean you take advantage of it either. Right, it's in the blood. Exactly. Hey, Ori, welcome in. Thank you for joining. All my people are here. I missed y'all too. I didn't go live yesterday, Ori, because I was so exhausted. I did a lot of ripping and running yesterday. And I had a lot going on. Welcome in, Bethany. Yes, I'm glad to see you guys too. It felt like it had been forever since I had talked to y'all. I went live last night though for a brief little second, but I just didn't have the energy. And when another thing too in the practice, a lot of times your energy will be drained from everything, because you're more susceptible to spiritual things. So even just meeting somebody, talking to somebody, having a conversation with somebody in the day is a pull on your energy, because while you're talking to this person, you're assessing them spiritually, and you can't help it. So it be a lot of stuff that be going on, and then on top of having to do work for people, and then when I talk to people and I'm consulting with people, I have to pick up on their energy. I'm pulling on their energy. They pulling on my energy. So I was exhausted. I just couldn't. I had no strength to go live last night. I was literally on for 3 minutes and I got off. I said, I don't want to go live in this energy, because I'm already going to be, different energies I'm picking up as y'all coming into my live. Thank you for joining the team. And I want to be at my best. I want to give y'all the best information, and I don't want y'all spirits to be drained because y'all sitting here taking from my energy. You know what I'm saying? And my energy already drained. So y'all picking up on my energy, draining y'all's energy. So I jumped on off, and Alexis messaged me, and she was like, I missed the live. What happened? I missed it. I was like, no, you didn't miss it. I was only live for like three whole minutes. 3 whole minutes. I was like, I can't do it. I don't even want to talk to them while I'm feeling like this. Yes, Ori, it's a blessing and a curse. I was just talking to my daughter about that this morning when she woke up. Right, black guy. Yes, exactly. Work be the main energy drain. I don't care. It don't even just be because of the work. It be because of the people that you have to deal with all day. But yes, Ori, your dreams are a blessing and a curse. My daughter told me this morning, because she has dreams like me, and so I'm doing a better job than I think my mama did with my gift. Now, don't get me wrong, my mama did teach me. She guided me with my gift, but I'm doing it on a whole nother level with my daughter, because I fully understand what she got to deal with. So she had got up this morning. She said, Mama, I dreamed about grandma's boyfriend. She dreamed about my mama's boyfriend. And she was like, I don't know why I dreamed about him. And so I had to break it down to her. I say, because you like your mama, so I know exactly why you dreamed about him. You dreamed about him because you was around your grandma yesterday. So you picking up on her energy and what's going on with her. So there is a message there that you need to convey to your grandma. And she said in the dream, she said, it felt like he was trying to attack me. She said, so when he came up, we was talking to each other, having a conversation. And when he started walking towards me, I felt fear. So when I look for particular things like that, your feelings in your dream is always going to be real. I don't care if the dream is scary, all that, whatever you're feeling in that moment, in that dream, is what you need to pay attention to. You never ignore your feelings. So she said, when he was walking towards me, I felt scared. I felt like I needed to walk away. And so she said, as I started to turn around in the dream and walk away, he was chasing me. But when I look back, it wasn't him chasing me. I couldn't see the face. And I told her, whenever you'll hardly ever see faces in your dream. But when you do see a face, you need to pay very close attention. So I said, the fact that you saw his face first before you turned around and looked back the second time, you saw him clearly walking towards you, then that clearly is a warning about something that he's gonna do. So I told her when she get home today from school, we're gonna call her grandma so she can tell her grandma the dream. But it's a blessing and a curse, because it's like you meet people and you don't even know these people, but because you was able to connect with their energy for a hot second, you will go back and dream about these people and then be like, I don't even know them. Why am I dreaming about these people? And then it's not like a lot of them you can go back and tell them, you know what I'm saying? Because you only met them for a short period of time. But just having to walk around knowing that something crazy is going to happen to these people and they don't even know it. So it's definitely a blessing and a curse. Thank you. Thank you for the roses, Calux. I don't know if I'm saying your name right. I be butchering names, but thank you for the likes, my love. But yeah, so I don't know what my mom boyfriend finna do, but whatever he do, I hope he don't get himself messed up. Cause we not the ones to play with. None of us here, but especially me and my mama. So yeah, you can pick up on people's energy, and then you can dream about them. Welcome in, Dark Oasis. Thank you for joining. If a deceased loved one is coming to you in your dream, Kaylee, depending on what is happening in the dream, so a lot of times they will come to you as a way to communicate with you if it's something that they want you to know. A lot of times they will come to you just to talk to you. A lot of times they will come to you to comfort you if they feel like you're having a hard time with their death. Thank you, Bear. Hey, Bear, welcome in. Thank you for joining. All my people are coming in. I love this. So yes, okay. So depending on how they come to you, basically. Now, be very weary. I always tell people, if they are making requests of you, you got to watch that. Like, you don't accept no requests from nobody in the dream. I don't care who they are. Mama, cousin, sister, brother, grandmama. I don't care who they are. If they are making a request of you, do not accept. Because when they come and they make requests from you, they are asking for your permission to use your body. And they ain't going to come out and ask you. All they need is for you to agree. So they may ask you, they may say some stuff like, can I help you with this? Because you seem like you need some help in this area. I know you tired. So can I help you? And if you say yes, you are giving them the permission to use your body. So you want to be very careful of that. But most times loved ones will come to you. That doesn't happen a lot. That only happens when there is a loved one that has passed on that wasn't ready to go. And a lot of times they don't really be crossed over right. So they still want to live. They still want to, be able to live. So they'll come to you and try to trick you into allowing them to possess your body. But if you are just having regular dreams, like conversations with them, or they giving you messages about certain things that may be going on in your life, then that's fine. They will come to you to do that. They'll come to you to comfort you. If you're having a hard time dealing with their death, they'll come to you. Most times that's the main reason why they come. My grandmother been deceased 19 years, 20 years, actually. She's been deceased 20 years. And out of the 20 years that she's been deceased, I think she's only came to me maybe about 5 times in my dreams. She came to me immediately, some months after she passed away. She came to me maybe about 5 years after that. Mostly she came to me at times when I was going through some things and I needed some guidance. This was way before I started putting up my altar and stuff and connecting with her every day like I'm supposed to. But she would come to me, to guide, to tell me certain things, even to relay messages to other members in the family. They'll come to you for that too. So yeah. But overall, it's nothing to worry about. The only thing that you need to worry about is if they make specific requests of you. And if you're working with spirits, your ancestor spirits, they don't usually make requests to you through dreams. Now, they do communicate with you through dreams. They do communicate with you through dreams, but they don't usually make their requests through dreams. They usually will communicate their requests through other things. So you have to be able to pay attention to, certain things. Like, I never forget one time I had forgot to, I ain't gonna say I forgot. It was so much going on in my life at the time that I was basically neglecting my altar. I wasn't tending to my altar the way that I was supposed to. And I just remember one day I was extremely hungry. I'm talking about the kind of hungry that started making me think that maybe something was wrong. I started thinking like, damn, do I got a tapeworm or something? Like, do I need to go to the doctor? And let me tell y'all something y'all can do for that if that ever happens. Tapeworm, pinworms. You take some crushed up eggshells and some sugar and mix it together and take it. And that'll save you a trip to the hospital and a whole bunch of money. Because the thin eggshells slice the pinworms in half and kill them, so they'll start coming out in your bowels. But and tapeworm. Thank you for the heart. So I was like, what is going on? Like, why am I so hungry like this? And I just kept eating, and it seemed like no matter how much I ate, I wasn't getting full, but I was feeling miserable. Like, I'm overeating. I know I'm overeating, but I can't get full. And I'm like, damn, I know I'm not pregnant. And then it dawned on me that I hadn't fed my ancestors in almost a week. So they was letting me know, we hungry. Feed us. So it's things like that will happen. How they are able to communicate with you to let you know what they want. Certain things that they want. Let me see what else y'all saying. You saw 2 red birds today, Bear. That's a good thing. That's a good omen. The red birds usually mean that they are communicating with you. Your ancestors your loved ones are communicating, but it's good. It's good thing. It's good news. Let me see who else. I done missed a whole bunch of y'all comments. Hold on, y'all. Now, my people will tell y'all, for the new people that are in here with me, I do fall behind in my comments because I have to look so close to read them. So, y'all, if you ask me a question, don't leave. I'm going to get to your question. I promise you I am. I just get behind. Having a problem, I don't know, it's me or the situation is done. Okay, what is this? You know who I'm talking to. Long 4. Inbox me, because it sounds like this may be something that you don't want to put here in the chat. So I want you to inbox me, love. You don't have a relationship with her and she's coming in your dream? What is she doing, Kaylee? Because that concerns me. When she comes in your dream, what is she doing? Because you might have to inbox me too. Because I'm going to tell y'all something. You can't play with these you can't play with these spirits. They crafty now. They are, everything is more intense in the spiritual realm. So You have to be on it when you're dealing with these spirits. I don't care how it comes, whether you're dealing with them on the altar, whether you're actually working with spirits, whether you're dreaming about spirits. You have to be on your shit when it comes to these spirits. Because you can F around and find out. And I don't mean to say that to scare anybody, because I hate that they already got our practice looking like it's, this evil witchcraft, demonic and spirit possessions and all of that stuff. That is not our practice. But I have to be honest to let y'all know that you do have to be on your P's and Q's when you're dealing with these spirits, because it's like dealing with regular people. You know what I'm saying? These people no longer possess a body, but they still possess their spirit. The same way you possess your spirit right now as you sitting on your phone looking and talking to me, they still possess their spirit. And so the spirit never changes. The spirit is us. We are the spirit. We're just clothed in flesh, but we are the spirit. So the same way you can run into crazy people in a living life, and you have to watch and observe your surroundings and be on your P's and Q's when you're out handling business for the day, or you're dealing with certain people, you're in business interactions with people and things like that. You have to be alert, pay attention, and watch. You got to do the same thing with these spirits. It's no different. The spirit world runs parallel with the physical world. The only thing is that most things are in reverse. So what's happening in the physical realm right now is in the opposite in the spiritual world. And so that's what our practice, that's what we do in the practice. We manipulate the energy. We turn it around and bring it in the way we want it to come in. But it always starts in the spiritual world first. So yeah, you got to be on your P's and Q's when you're dealing with these spirits. And I don't care who they are. Like I said, mama, auntie, brother, sister, cousin. It does not matter. If they were your cousin and they was nasty to you when they were alive, they still feel the same way about you in the spirit. So, you might have to inbox me and let me know what's going on. Who was that? Kaylee. Because if you didn't have a relationship with her, it could be something else going on. Okay. You're waking up in the middle of the night. Like, what time are you waking up? And the reason why I ask that is because spiritual activity heightens at a certain time of the night. Because that's when they wake up. We go to sleep when the sun goes down, and they wake up when the sun go down. So depending on how late it is and what's going on, it could be, you might have some spiritual activity in your house. It could be your ancestors trying to connect with you, because sometimes they do that too. If they trying to get our attention, they know how to muster up enough energy to let us know, hey, I'm calling you. See what I want. And then depending on if you have an altar or whatever the case may be, if you have an altar set up and you're not paying attention to that altar, they could be trying to get your attention. If you don't have an altar set up, they could be still trying to get your attention. Because they can do stuff, but the energy level is low. Thank you for the hearts. The energy level is low if you don't feed them. Have y'all ever heard the saying, don't leave food out after a certain hour? Don't leave food out late at night. Basically, you don't leave no food out when the sun goes down. Because once the sun go down, they wake up. And so if you leaving food out, you are feeding whatever spirit that is around you, that has attached to you, that is in facility. You are feeding this spirit. And if this is not a spirit that you are working with, if this is a spirit that is not connecting with you and doing good in your life, you don't want to feed this spirit, because you ain't doing that but getting that spirit energy to go and do chaos. To go be what they want to, go do what they want to do. So my bad, that was an accident. Thank you for the likes. Wait a minute, Black Eye, you say if they make eye contact with you in the dream, Dark Oasis. Now if they make eye contact with you, that means that you're able to see their face. And so then that might be something you need to pay attention to. So it depends on what's going on in the dream. I can't really specifically say, but anytime you see a person's face in a dream, you need to pay attention to that face, because it's something, there's a warning about that person. So if they looked you dead in your eye and you was able to see their face clearly, then you might, you might need to pay attention to that. Thank you for the likes. You say your little brother. What you mean, Black Eye? I think I might have missed something you said. You said that he still don't know what it means. Monette, that's pretty specific. You wait a minute now. I don't know. You might have to inbox me too, because that's very specific. That's very specific. And I don't want to say nothing to scare you, but sometimes we will dream when somebody is doing something to us. Somebody is doing something to us. Thank you for the likes. So, I mean, if you guys want dream interpretations, I do dream interpretations. I do have a link in my profile where you can schedule a consultation with me. But there is a charge for the dream consultation. But the way that I try to help people to avoid that charge or that fee is if you subscribe to my TikTok. So I do offer subscription plans that can help you, where you can get a free, or I won't say free because you're still paying for it, but you can get a dream interpretation included with the subscription, and that way you don't have to pay the regular price for it. Thank you for the likes. So if that's something that if you're interested in, and I'm only doing this for a short period of time, so once I get to 50 subscribers, I'm going to stop it. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate that. Okay, let me catch up. Let me catch up. But I was just saying that, so if there's anybody that wants to get a dream interpretation, that right now is the I hate to say cheapest, but that's the most affordable way to do it. And then after 50 subscribers, then I'm gonna end that. How do you help them to move on, Bethany? So that, hold on one second, Bethany. Oh, okay. Kaylee, I don't know if I'm saying your name wrong. Please inbox me, love, because I want to see what's going on with that. I really want to see what's going on with that. Thank you for the follow, Matilda. Did I say that right? You know who I'm talking about, y'all. I butcher names. Okay, so who was that I was just talking to? Wait, y'all, the comments is coming in so fast, y'all. I'm falling behind. Lord, I done missed a lot. I was just talking to somebody. They asked me, how do you help them to move on? So the way I was taught to do it is that you pray for them. You pray that the ancestor, because there's usually an ancestor on the other side that they rotate, but there's always an ancestor on the other side that helps us to transition. So usually when people are dying, that the ancestor that was basically the one that was leading them the most throughout life is the one that will come and help them to transition. So if they are not able to transition, that means that the ancestor was not able to help them to transition. And only thing that you could do on your end is to pray. You know what I'm saying? Pray for their spirit to rest, to be able to rest. But you may have to seek out somebody that can professionally help. I don't do that. I don't know how to do that. That's a little bit too advanced for me, and I'm scared because when you start doing that type of stuff, you actually are, it's beyond you just working with the spirit and connecting with the spirit. You are actually like lining yourself up to you know what I'm saying, basically. I don't know, it's a lot that goes into trying to help a spirit to transition. So there are people that do that. I just don't. I haven't gotten to that level yet. I'm not that advanced, and I'm just being honest. But I mean, you can try to help them yourself. If they're, if they're on your altar and you are connecting with them, you can try to see if you can help them to transition. But 9 times out of 10, when a spirit doesn't transition, that's because they're stubborn, and so they won't. No matter what you do, they won't really transition until they're ready. Unless you got somebody that know what they're doing and they can help them. Let's see. Yeah, so you would have to give me a little bit more information, Dark Oasis. You can inbox me if you want. Depending on the details of the dream, I could help you figure out what it means. Let's see. Hold on. I'm going back, you guys. I'm going back to miss the questions, to answer the questions that I missed. I'm a little bit behind. Let's see. Sade, you said they asked you to buy them a certain perfume. Okay, now this one is tricky because sometimes you will, like I was telling y'all, I don't know if y'all saw my video, but you will get certain requests that will be like, why was y'all asking to do that? Like, it'd be a challenge. But what I will say though is that when you make that sacrifice for whatever it is that they're asking for, it usually comes with a much bigger blessing. So they kind of see like how as a I don't have a better way to explain it, but they want to see how locked in you are. I'm gonna put it like that because I don't know another way to put it for real right now, but they want to see how locked in you are. So when they give you that challenge like that, it's one or two things. They want to see if you're going to be obedient to them, even though they know that it may be hard for you to do it, but they want to see if you're going to be obedient to them because they do a lot for us. And so just like we don't want to be used by them, they don't want to be used by us. So if you are really genuine about them and connecting with them, and you are, you know what I'm saying, and you know that they do a lot for you, then it shouldn't be a problem for you to make a sacrifice for them because they have made many sacrifices for you. So you might not be able to afford that perfume right now, but I promise you, if you figure out a way to get that perfume for them, you will be able to afford that perfume 15, 20 times over when they finish with you. So they do things like that to kind of see, you know what I'm saying? So you have to be careful. Like I remember one time I had I was going through a little hard patch. And like I said, spiritual people never really lack, but we do have some times where our money can get tied up some type of way. Especially if you are not on course the way you should be. So if you're not keeping balance, meaning if you're always getting and never giving, or the opportunities that present themselves for you to give and you don't, then that will cross your money up. That's what in Hoodoo, that's what we call it, crossing your money up. So the way that you have to uncross your money is you have to give. Basically, you have to figure out a way to give. And so I had hit one of them little bumps where I didn't realize that I was not giving as I should. I'm not a selfish person at all. But sometimes we have them moments, y'all know, where you're not really paying attention to other people and their needs. And so, because in our practice you have to keep a balance, my money had got tied up a little bit, and it got crossed up. And I forgot what I was talking about, y'all. The point that I was getting at. Oh Lord. But I think I was telling y'all, so yeah, you have to so if you make that sacrifice. So I was complaining. Of course, when my money got tied up, I started complaining about how, every time I get a couple of dollars in my pocket, it goes like this. Like I wasn't being able to hold on to anything. I wasn't keeping nothing in my pocket. And so I was like, and I was telling my ancestors, I said, well, I can't get y'all the stuff that I usually get y'all because my money been funny. And one of my ancestors made a request for something. I forgot what it was. But in my mind, I was aggravated about it because it's like, I just said that my money funny. Like I can't really make too many moves like how I usually would. But after I tossed it around in my head for a little while, something was like, just do it. Just do it. And so when I gave the offering, I can't really remember what it was, but when I gave the offering, it basically helped to uncross my money. So it was basically me having to do something for somebody else. I had to do something for somebody else. So yeah, sometimes you'll have to do that. They will challenge you. Let me see. Oh Lord, I'm falling behind, y'all. Or you see auras? Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that'd be a bit much for me. That's something that I don't want to do, even though I know that it would be good. Thank you for the follow, Christian. Even though I know that is a good thing because that helps you make better decisions about people, but I just know how it is, being able to pick up on people's energy all day anyway. So just imagine walking around all day long and you can just read people's energy all day. Like that is exhausting. I don't care. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. That's why I stay in the house a lot. And people be like, oh, you don't never go nowhere. You just turn into an old maid. You don't get out the house. You don't come see nobody, because I have to protect my energy. And y'all don't know what it's like to be me. I promise y'all, if I go to a barbecue right now with about 10 people, that barbecue gonna set me back for about 3 weeks. I ain't coming out the house and doing nothing for about 3 weeks. It's gonna take me that long to recharge myself. Even when I come on here and talk to you guys, I can only stay on but so long. I be telling myself I want to stay on for 4 hours. I want to stay on for 5 hours. I want to try to stay on for as long as I can, because I don't go live a lot. I don't go live every day. I go live twice a week. One time for everybody, and then the second time just for my subscribers. So, but I know that the longer I stay on, the more energy I pick up on. So by the time I get off the live, I'm tired. It's not easy when and don't get me wrong, everybody has a spiritual gift. Every single individual on this planet We all have a spiritual gift, but some spiritual gifts can be a burden. I ain't even gonna front. I ain't gonna lie to y'all or sugarcoat nothing. Some spiritual gifts can be a burden. And picking up on people's energy, being an empath, that's what the trending word is now. Everybody say empath. It can be a burden. It really can, because it restricts you a lot from things in life. Because it's either you try to go be a social butterfly and then you around here, flopping around on the ground because you don't got no energy, or you conserve your energy and you use it responsibly. So, you conserve that energy and use it to help people. But we be wanting to go have some fun too. Thank you for the hearts. It is draining, Kay. It's very draining. Y'all should see me in the grocery store. I swear to God, I know people be thinking I probably be on some drugs or something. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I know people be thinking that I be, doing some stuff I ain't got no business doing, because the way I be zooming through the grocery store. Yeah, I be zooming through the grocery store. My husband used to say all the time, you the only woman that I know that don't like to shop. And it's not because I don't like to shop, because I love shopping. But I'm so thankful for online shopping. I do all my shopping online, because the public places, I just, it's hard for me. And for a long time, I thought something was wrong with me. I was going and taking anxiety medicine and everything because I thought that maybe I got some type of anxiety issue. But I learned that that's not what it is. Thank you for the likes. It's just I pick up people's energies very easily, and in the practice, especially if you are in service to people, if you are a root worker and you spend a lot of time helping people, dealing with people, you have to take your spiritual baths. They are going to be your life saver. Do you hear me? Hear me and hear me good. They are going to be your absolute lifesaver. You cannot skate by without taking your spiritual baths if you are going to be doing work for people. Because when I tell y'all some of the stuff that I hear, and you're opening you're opening yourself to people. They're not just opening up to you. You're opening yourself up to them as well. So you got to receive this stuff that they're telling you is going through your ear gate. You got to process this stuff is going through your mental. Then you got to feel for what to do. So you're dealing with it in your intestinal organs, and you know what I'm saying? It's just your intuition. You know what I'm saying? You open yourself up spiritually to them too. And so you got to be on top of protecting your spirit and your spiritual energy. That's why I keep this crystal. And crystals are not a part of hoodoo, even though I don't feel like that's a bad thing, but because crystals are of nature, so hoodoo is a very it's a practice based in nature. But they don't really go together for real. But because I got into crystals and crystals did help me, I still wear them. I just don't mix them in my practice. So I'm not up there doing work and putting crystals with my work. No, you don't do that. But yeah, I keep crystals for things like that, black onyx and stuff like that, protect your energy. I make sure I do foot washes if I can't get to a full spiritual bath, because there are steps in a process to taking a spiritual bath. So if I can't get to one right away, I will do a quick one with just soaking my feet. You can always do that. But you got to do your spiritual baths. Because if you don't, you will be somewhere in somebody's shrink office saying, I think I'm going crazy. Can you help me, please? Give me whatever prescriptions you got. And I'm not playing with y'all. I'm dead for real. Thank you for the lights, cutie. Yes. So true, Kaylee. Yes, you taking on too much energy. Oh, yes, Tam. I get them a lot. Yes, malls. And it'll make you think that it's something wrong with you. For a long time, I really thought that I had anxiety. And I didn't know, like, I knew, but I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew that it would be situations where I would be around certain people and I didn't want to be around them. It just didn't feel right to me, but I didn't really know exactly what it was. And then, when the term empath got real popular and everybody started saying, "Oh, I'm an empath." So I went to go do my research. And when I saw what everybody was saying they was experiencing, I was like, that's exactly what I experienced day in and day out, all day long, always have. And, so for a long time, I was thinking, well, maybe something traumatic happened to me. And then it just sent me into like this shock. And so I just have a hard time with being around people. But as I thought back throughout my life, I've always been that way. I've always been that way. So, yeah, I ended up going to get medicine for it before I really knew what was going on. I went to get anxiety medicine, but I never took it. I never got around to taking it. But I figured out what it was and what I needed to do for it. And that was like before I really started getting deep into the practice, So once I started getting deep into the practice and I started having to take spiritual baths because I was doing work, and stuff like that, and I needed, you always have to do a bath before and after you do any type of work. It doesn't matter if it's love work. It doesn't matter if it's money work. It doesn't matter what kind of work. You always need to do a bath before, because you have to make sure that your energy is cleansed while you are doing work. And then if you're doing left-handed work, you need to make sure that you're cleansed afterwards, because you got to remove, you just played in some mud, so your hands are dirty. So you got to make sure you clean your hands, if you get my drift. So always do your baths before you do anything and afterwards. But when I started seeing that the baths were helping me, then I was like, okay. Then I started saying, okay, well, let me just do one once a month. Let me see how that helps me out with going out and dealing with people. And it does help. It really do. Because if you don't, and you pick up on people's energy, and not only do you pick up on you're not it's not necessarily that you're picking up on the people per se, it's their spirit that you're picking up on. So, you know, people don't tend to think like that because we're so used to being in the physical. Everything we think of everything in the physical term. But no, you're interacting with all of these spirits. And so if you're a person that works with spirits and then you have to go out in the world and be around spirits, it can be very draining. Yes, and head washes. Head washes are, you're supposed to do there. Well, there is a tradition where you do a head wash on New Year's, but the New Year's is not the actual New Year's, January 1st. You do your head wash on your New Year, which is your birthday. But the thing is, you don't do it, so it'll never really be on your birthday. So if you're born January the 2nd on a Thursday, your head wash will be done January, whatever the first Thursday of that January is. So it'll never fall on your actual day. Well, it will, but it's not always going to be on the actual day that you was born. So you wouldn't do your head wash every January the 2nd, because every January the second is not going to fall on this exact day that you was born, which was a Thursday. So you would do your head wash in January, but the first Thursday of January. So that was the tradition that a lot of root workers would do back in the day. And the head wash would be to bring in prosperity, to protect their health, because you dealing with people, you working all kind of stuff, left-handed stuff on people. So you want to make sure that you are covered for the whole year outside of just your spiritual baths. 'Cause I don't know if they was actually doing a lot of spiritual baths the way we do them now. They was doing them, but mostly theirs was like foot soaks and stuff like that. But the way that they will wash their whole body down, what we call a spiritual bath now, they were doing will be the head wash. And they would do it on their New Year's, which is the day, their birthday, every year. And so, from your birthday, from the date of your birthday, you want to make sure that the whole year up until your next birthday, you're covered and protected. Your health is covered, your finances is covered, all of that stuff. Especially if you did a lot of healing work, because a big part of hoodoo back in the day was healing work. It wasn't as much love work like how we do now. Now, don't get it twisted. There was a lot of love work because you had a lot of people, homes would get broken up. But it wasn't like how we do. It wasn't, most of the time it was healing work, money work, and stuff like that. But if you did a lot of healing work, you wanted to make sure that you was healed, because you can't do healing work if you sick, if you got stuff going on with your health. So they would do that as a way to make sure that they could still keep being a good worker. A good worker. Oh, Lord. Oh, I got. Oh, Lord. Oh, I got. Can y'all hear me? Because sometimes a caller come in and throw the whole volume off and y'all can't hear nothing. Okay, good. Bethany, you say you feel like you're crazy because everyone's spirit feels off. No, ma'am, you're not crazy. You're not crazy. You just picking up on your spirit is very discerning. And now everybody's spirit is not off. You do have some people that have good spirits, but because there are more bad spirits nowadays, that's probably why you feel like everybody's spirit is off. You have a lot of selfishness nowadays. And a lot of slick hatred. It's just the quality of people is not the same nowadays. So you're not crazy at all. Welcome in, Henny. But yeah, it can be overwhelming sometimes. And then, when people don't understand, when people don't really understand what's going on, it kind of makes it hard to deal with things too, because you get stereotype, people talk crap about you behind your back. Oh, she's weird. Oh, she's antisocial. She don't never want to come out. She ain't got no friends. You hear all this type of stuff and they don't really know what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's not that you And what always get me is when I let people into my world, because I'm very funny about who I interact with and who I let into my world. And so when people actually get to know me for real, and they start, and I allow them into my space, into my house and stuff like that, and they get to really see who I am, it never fails. They always say the same thing. Oh, I like you. You so fun. You're so funny. You're such a sweet person. You got such a sweet spirit. Yeah, but you did all that judging beforehand, that lets me know when you say stuff like that, that lets me know that you had already prejudged me, and it wasn't nowhere near I wasn't anywhere near close to what you thought I was, what you had already prejudged me as. So that be they dead giveaway, and they do it every time. I actually like you. You're pretty cool. Oh, you're funny. So what you was saying before you really got to know me was, you're weird. She seems very serious. I don't think I like her too much. You know, because not everybody can read people's energy well. Exactly, backhanded. That's exactly what that be, two-headed. Backhanded. But I pick right on up on it. I be like, oh, okay, so that means you didn't think that about me at first. But it's all good. I'm glad you got a chance to see who I really was. Maybe it was meant for me to let you in so you could see who I really was. And then once they get to know me, then they don't even want to leave me alone. It be weird. Like they have a hard time with understanding that I'm going to pull away. And everybody that knows me know I pull away. I have to. So it's not because we're not cool anymore, or I don't like you, or I'm being funny. I have to pull away because I start to pick up on too much of your energy. And if I get too much negative stuff about you, then I'm definitely going to cut you off. And when I cut you off, you cut off. I don't play. When it take me a long time to let you in, but when I let you in, I'm going to love on you. I'm loyal to you. I'm going to be there, support you in every way I can. You can always depend on me. But when I cut you off, it's over. You out of there. Oh, Orisi, I understand. Yes, I know you understand. That's that Scorpio energy. Cancers, we move like Scorpios in a lot of ways. Yes, do that, two-headed. Do it. My mentor showed me a few years ago. And so I do it on my birthday every year now. You a Cancer too, Black Eye? Okay. That makes sense. Cause we be on it. I don't know what it is, but with that spiritual stuff, we be on it. And we be on it before we even really like be into spirituality. Like, it's just like it's natural for us. I don't know what it is. We just know how to pick up on. We just know how to move when it comes to the spiritual realms. It's for me, and this is my opinion. Don't nobody take offense to this, because anybody can be a good root worker. That as long as you put in the effort, as long as you practice the way you're supposed to, as long as you elevate your ancestors and you make sure that they are strengthened to help you, you can be an excellent root worker. Anybody can. But I do specifically look for certain things in certain people that will let me know that they will be very powerful in their practice. And there are 4 signs that I feel, well, actually 5 signs that I feel like they definitely can be excellent root workers. And that they are Virgos, Pisces, Scorpios, Cancers, and Aries. Those are the 5 that I feel like will be just like A1. So, like I said, everybody can. I'm not just singling them out, but it's just like certain qualities that I look for specifically. For Virgos, it's because they are naturally they are very hands-on people, like they work with their hands. So that's a really good quality to have in practicing hoodoo, because that's a lot of what we do. Virgos are very nature based thinking people. So they are the ones that will know how to treat you using plants and herbs. They are the ones that know about plants and herbs, because that is their interest. They love nature. They love animals. They love plants. And they usually work with their hands a lot. So they would be excellent for root work. Of course, all of the water signs, because there's a specific type of intuition that you need to be able to have to connect with spirits. There's a certain level of most people walk around with their guards up all day. No shade to people, but most people have their guards up. Most of the time they don't flow like that. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be able to flow in between both worlds. And most water signs can do that. We naturally can flow like water. So that's why I say all of the water signs. And then for Aries are they have it's like they have a very determined spirit about them. So they're gonna always be willing to try things, and you know what I'm saying, and get results, because that's what they look for. The Aries want results. They're very action oriented people, and plus they have a really good intuition also. So that's a quality that you need in hoodoo. You want results. When you do your work, you want results. You know what I'm saying? You know what action is going to bring you the right result. So that's why I say those 5, but everybody can. Everybody has a gift. Everybody has a quality, a strength, and each sign, all 12 zodiac signs. And so depending on your particular gift or your particular strength will tell you where you will be the most effective in your practice. So you may not be 100% in the practice, but you have strong areas that will make you good in your practice. So we all do. So know what your strengths are. I did a video about that too. I'm about to actually get ready to get off here, y'all, because I done been on here for a minute. I did pretty good today. I'm proud of myself. But know your strengths. Know what your strengths are, so that you know how effective you can be in particular areas. And I'm gonna tell you, with cancers, we pretty good in the areas of money in the practice. We do really good in money work. I don't know why, but we do. Have a good day, Black Eyes. See you later. Hopefully I see you tomorrow. Thank you for the likes, Monette. Am I saying your name right, Monette? Oh wait, is Kayla you a Taurus? Okay, you're pretty good. You'll be pretty good in the practice too. When it comes to working with the roots and stuff, with the herbs. I'm glad you caught my live too, two-headed, and hopefully you come back. Don't be a stranger, honey. Come on back and talk to me. But yeah, y'all, I'm about to get on off of here myself because I'm about to burn up out here in this darn car, and I need to go get me some water. And then I got some work I got to do. I'm always working, y'all. I'm always working. That's another thing. If you're going to do this to help people, if this is going to be your calling, because I mean, not everybody practice hoodoo to actually be a worker. You know, some people just do it for themselves. But if you're actually going to be a worker, you got to be prepared, baby, because the work don't stop. It's always somebody that needs something done. They need some help somewhere. So you just got to be ready to be of service. And it's a good feeling that comes behind it when you know that you're doing it for the right reasons. You know, when you know that you're actually doing something to help somebody, whereas before they wasn't able to get help for that anywhere. You know, it's something going on with their body, and they done been to doctor after doctor, and they tired of spending their money, and they tired of being in pain. And I need to know what is going on with me. And you're the one that's able to figure it out and help them. It's so rewarding, y'all. I'm not going to lie. You can get kind of addicted to it in a way, because it's like, but you got to keep that balance. Don't never get too cocky and be like, oh, I'm the shit. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm here to tell you that now. Don't ever get cocky, because it's never you. It's never you by yourself. It's your ancestor team, the spirits that you work with. But on that note, y'all, let me get on out of here. And like I said, I do subscription lives on Tuesdays, and I am able to talk about a whole lot of stuff in my subscription lives, more than I would here, because, you know, we got to try to keep our practice as private as we can, even though it's hard to do in a world that's full of technology. But so if you are interested, definitely, you know, look at my subscriptions and see which one may help you, and come and join us on Tuesday. But y'all have a good rest of y'all day. I'm finna get on out of here.